GNO News at 5, New Orleans' very own.
We are starting with breaking news tonight on WGNO. I'm Susan Roschen.
And I'm Kurt Sprang. The evacuation order in Garyville has been lifted after a massive fire at the Marathon Refinery.
You can see in our video the black smoke that people could see for miles all morning long. Emergency crews are still at the refinery, and WGNO's Rick Gogrieve is near there now with the latest developments. Rick.
Susie and Kurt, it started at about 7 o'clock this morning when a tank containing naphtha and dangerous chemical leaked and caught on fire. Now officials say the flames spread to a second tank in the same area of the refinery. Soon after, Parish President Jacqueline Hotard issued an emergency declaration and a mandatory evacuation for all residents within a 2-mile radius. Evacuees are able to head to one of several schools used as shelters, including East St. John Prep Academy, East St. John High School, and West St. John High School. As of now, however, the fire is under control and the evacuation has been lifted.
It is a little scary, and that's why we have all been assembled here, including our partners with Marathon, to make sure that we put together a unified response and that we're working together to ensure the safety of our residents. That's always our priority.
More than 50 people responded to the fire, including refinery personnel as well as state and parish emergency workers. Response teams from other Marathon refineries also were here to help put out the fire. Now, thankfully, there are no reports of any injuries, and of course, the cause is now under investigation. Susie and Kurt, back to you.
All right, thank you, Rick.
Naphtha is a chemical compound used in the refining process to make gasoline. If you get it on your skin or swallow it, it can make you very sick, but brief exposure from smoke generally causes temporary symptoms, says Dr. Jeffrey Kuo, who is an Ochsner emergency room physician and also helps oversee emergency medical responses in Southeast Louisiana.
So watering eyes would be exposure to the eyes, coughing would be exposure to the lungs, burning of the skin or other visible ramifications of contact with skin would be things that we'd be looking for.
And Kuo says anyone who has those symptoms should see a doctor. He adds during evacuations, it's important that people stay away and not go sightseeing because it could increase the number of people affected.
And although people who live around the plant are allowed to go home now, some of them say they should have gotten the evacuation alert sooner.
WGNO's Ashley Hamilton is near the scene with that part of the story. Ashley.
Kurt, residents say this experience should be a learning lesson for the parish when it comes to alerting public about hazardous incidents.
I hope this is an eye-opener. Let's just say that. I hope it's an eye-opener.
Residents around the refinery say it took over 4 hours to find out exactly what was going on, while workers at the plant were doing everything in their power to get things under control.
So initially it was kind of a lazy flame, and we were putting foam on it to keep the fumes and fire down, to keep it contained. You know, as the day gets hotter, it did reignite.
Parents rushed to schools to pick up their children, and neighborhoods emptied out as residents evacuated. Many of them expressing disappointment in the parish, some saying they didn't get any information until around 11:30.
Nothing. I didn't get a ding to my phone. I didn't get an email. I didn't get anything. It just took word of mouth. I think they should definitely learn from this experience how to get it out, mass communication. I know you guys are familiar with the weather alert. We get the beep, and then it lets you know where there's pending bad weather coming in and the location. There should be the same thing with these plants in this area.
Neighbors said it doesn't matter if it's a major incident like this one or even a small one. They need the information as soon as possible.
Because I have grandkids, I have my puppy, and also my husband has lung cancer. And we are going through that process of now we're taking treatments, and I think it should have been a better protocol than what they did.
Parish President Jacqueline Hotard says they're looking into when the first alert was sent out. Susie, Kurt.
All right, thank you. Ashley Hamilton reporting there from the refinery area. This is not the first fire at Marathon Refinery. In February of last year, there was this fire, caused an explosion. We were told during this fire that a contract worker had a minor injury, but there were no major injuries involved in that fire. And then in October of last year, an overnight fire injured 2 people. The sheriff's office said at the time that there was no threat to the public, but the refinery never told us what started the fire.
New tonight, the state fire marshal's office says there are no more exceptions anymore to the statewide burn ban. This comes as the governor visits one of the hardest hit places in the state, Beauregard Parish. Edwards flew over the impacted areas at the Louisiana-Texas border. He calls what he saw alarming. That part of the state is under a severe drought. Edwards says every day that we hit 100 degrees, the situation just gets worse.
Nobody alive in Louisiana has ever seen these conditions. It's never been this hot, this dry, for this long. And to have these fires burning the way that they are and jumping fire lines, it makes for a very difficult and dangerous situation.
Edwards says federal aid is on the way. The Louisiana Red Cross has shelters open to help people displaced by the fires in Beauregard Parish. One of those shelters is in DeRidder, the other in Maryville. The Louisiana Red Cross says it also has teams responding to 2 other wildfires in other parts of the state.
And if you'd like to see how many wildfires are burning and where they are in every state, this is an online interactive tracking map. If you click on any one of the little fire icons that you see, you can get a lot of information. For instance, that right there is the Beauregard Parish fire that we've been talking about, the Tiger Island fire. And if you go to the information that's released on this website, it will tell you that as of about 8 o'clock this morning, at least 15,000 acres were burned. It's about 65% contained. If you'd like to get the web address for this tracking map, we'll put the link on our website, WGNO.com.
And Sabine Parish is another one with some of the worst wildfire damage in the state. Now someone is arrested in connection with at least one of those fires. The State Department of Agriculture and Forestry arrested 21-year-old Jeremiah Hill. Investigators say Hill posted threats of arson on social media. Right now, no bond has been set. Across Sabine Parish, more than 10,000 acres is burned. Investigators believed a downed power line may have started at least one fire as well.
And we are tracking the tropics. There is a tropical wave now heading toward the Gulf.
Our chief meteorologist, Hank Allen, is here to keep us all calm. Hank.
Yeah, same system we've been talking about the past couple of days. No real change in the thinking of this at this point. Now, obviously, still in the formative stages. And I always say a lot of times during tropical season, until it gets past the Yucatan Peninsula, you still probably don't have a great idea of where it's going. And you add in the fact that we really don't have a system out there yet. So, of course, the forecast models we talk about a lot during tropical season, there's no center point to really work those models off of. So we're still watching all this. Pretty impressive looking wave at this point. The Hurricane Center now up to 80% with that development chance over the next few days as this likely heads up to the eastern Gulf and then towards the Big Bend area of Florida. And here's the way the Futurecast sees it here. Initially, that actually starts to drift off to the west towards the Yucatan Peninsula. And then as that trough comes in across the eastern half of the country, it lifts it off to the north and then starts to head it off to the northeast towards Florida. So, again, anytime you're dealing with these troughs coming in and picking these things up, you wait to see them develop, wait to see them get picked up and start that motion. But I would not be overly concerned with our area at this point. Maybe some marine issues, in the outer waters, that sort of thing. But likely a Florida system by the middle of next week. Potentially a hurricane too, guys. We'll keep an eye on that. But still the big story for us, the heat the next couple of days.
All right. Thanks, Hank.
Yep.
And new at 5, we're hearing from Dillard University about the decision to reinstate a mask mandate indoors. Dillard's chief medical officer, Dr. Corey Hebert, says because the campus is on the smaller side, getting a surge in COVID cases could become a problem very quickly.
We decided to be proactive and require indoor masking in communal areas. The mask is a very important thing. And so we are requiring that so that we would make sure that our transmission of COVID-19 would be very low during the times that the students are going to be being very close to each other. That may not be the case later on in the semester.
Dillard's COVID numbers throughout the pandemic were some of the lowest in the state. The mask mandate is in effect for 2 weeks now, and then administrators will reevaluate the situation.
Covering America, former President Donald Trump's legal problems aren't hurting him in the court of public opinion.
And there is a new poll showing what Republican viewers thought of the GOP debate this week that went on without the former president. The results of that from ABC's Morgan Norwood.
As former President Trump was being booked in Georgia, his closest Republican rival, Ron DeSantis, back on the campaign trail in Iowa, throwing softballs at the Field of Dreams baseball field, reluctant to criticize Trump.
I think those investigations are casting too much of a shadow on the Republican primary. I mean, you're here, you're meeting voters, the former president's getting arrested.
Well, but here's the thing: it's so candidates got to decide how much are they going to indulge with some of this.
A new survey finds Republican primary voters thought it was DeSantis who had the best debate performance Wednesday night.
You don't take somebody like Fauci and coddle him. You bring Fauci in, you sit him down, and you say, Anthony, you are fired.
But the survey of Republican voters also found Nikki Haley gained the most potential supporters, going from 30% saying they might support her to 47%. Another debate standout, Vivek Ramaswamy, whose campaign says has already raised $450,000 off his performance. The biotech entrepreneur facing numerous attacks from the other candidates.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT.
Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie.
Former Vice President Mike Pence says you can expect to see the same combative tone from him at the next debate.
Your last boss was a rookie. He had on-the-job training, a businessman who had never been elected, who had no foreign policy experience. Why is it disqualifying for Vivek Ramaswamy and not for Donald Trump in 2016?
Well, I think it's, we live in at a different time.
Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
The next debate is September the 27th, and Trump is expected to skip that one as well.
Still ahead on WGNO News, a New Orleans sailor who was killed at Pearl Harbor is finally laid to rest.
And we're going to take you back to Garyville for an update on the Marathon Refinery fire.